Under the one-child policy, gender equity rhetoric served as a smokescreen for coercion. There was a stark dissonance because villages erected banners condemning some preference, but also cadres approved second births exclusively for families with firstborn daughters, reinforcing the very bias they claim to oppose. This duality and the root of this hypocrisy lies in cadre evaluation systems that rewarded officials for hitting population targets, regardless of the human cost. Even when campaigns paid lip service to gender equality, enforcers has no incentive to uphold it unless it served demographic goals. Therefore, to break the cycle, we propose an amendment to introduce gender equity indicators such as balanced school enrollment, equal inheritance dispute resolved in favor of daughters, or rates of reported sex-selective abortions as mandatory benchmarks for promotions. Therefore, similarly, under state-sponsored gender equality campaigns often consist slogans painted on walls or staged village events, a waste of resources that does little to change the behavior. Instead, funding should be redirected to direct cash transfers to families with daughters, particularly in rural areas where son prevalence is the strongest. This could be structured as education grants, dowry-free marriage subsidies, or elderly care top-ups to offset the perceived economic loss of having a daughter. Publicly celebrate and reward model families that invest in daughters' educations and careers, giving them tangible benefits, for example, preferential access to loans or housing rather than just certificates. China's gender equality campaigns fail because they're designed by the same systems that perpetuate the gender bias. For example, posters urging women to marry late, bear less in the 1980s or have 3 children today both reduce women to simple reproductive vessels. To avoid repeating this, we should include feminist sociologists and grassroots women's groups in policy drafting, ensuring that campaign and posters address real barriers like workplace discrimination and unequal inheritance, rather than scolding women for backward attitudes. Require gender impact assessment for all population policies with public transparency about how pronatalist measures affects a woman's autonomy.